Everyone, it's Chris Shelley. It's ARCA cars at Martinsville. Let's get right into it. This is just going to be a walkthrough of the race. Skipping qualifying this time. Let's go for it. So we qualified 6th with a 19.663. A good lap here is probably about a 19.5 on a hot lap, and then it'll trail off to about 20.2s, I think. Maybe even a little bit slower at the very end. We've got a 55 lap race here. The short tracks are not as tire dependent as the speedways are. You don't really wear them out as much. It's just, there's not as much force on them for as long a time. But I am careful sort of about bringing them up to temperature, getting the brakes warmed up, and sort of not going too aggressive, especially around all these cars at a very short track. It's spaced out around us kind of nice here, so I'm fine just riding around for a lap or two, just getting into a rhythm. The line is very straightforward.
Come on, man.
It's symmetrical. It's symmetrical, so you're gonna do essentially the same thing in 1 and 2 as you do in 3 and 4, but the reference points are a little bit different. So with braking being so huge here at this very like narrow corner like short track, you're really gonna want to look to get about 50% brake and then trail off, which also means because you're using so much brake, you're gonna have a lot higher brake bias than you normally would. You know, at speedways, you want to try to get at like 57%. Like you start at 60 and you go down to 57% with an in-car adjustment. Here, what you're going to do is you're going to take about anywhere from 63.5 to about 66%, depending on your driving style of brake bias, and that will probably work. You're just using so much brake that you can't really go any lower without giving up time, having to brake earlier and try not to spin out. So when you're setting your brake bias, you want to make sure you can attack the corner and trail brake and get the car to rotate. So it's a balance of getting in deep into the corner, not having to have as much braking distance, while also getting the car to rotate. So you go anywhere. You probably want to target about 50% brake at the start, trail it off. You see that corner wasn't very good, but you want to do right here, about 50%, trail off into the corner. As you're trailing off the brake, you throw more steering into it. I'm still doing a 14:1 steering ratio. Some guys go smaller on the short tracks. I'm kind of just of the opinion that you take the same brake steering ratio every time, except on like maybe a super speedway. But I just like it just makes more sense to me personally. Some people probably have opinions on that, and that's fine. I don't mind driving a school bus, so it looks like we're throwing so much steering wheel into it. So we're throwing a lot over 90 degrees in the center of the corner. Now you also probably have noticed I'm shifting. So yeah, to get the most power off the corner, you're gonna want to shift. Right now, the gear ratio in these cars in the setup, you're not really getting all the power you can if you're staying in 4th gear. You can get more if you're jamming full throttle on the gas coming off a corner and you're not getting any oversteer at all on a short track. When you're running any stock car on a short track, you want to be able to have a little bit of wheel spin coming off the corner, and if not, that means you need more power on exit. And chances are, at a short track, you can just downshift to get that power. Especially a track like this where the corners are very slow, but you have like fairly lengthy straightaways. So to shift, it's very simple. You make sure you have your shifting assist off. And then anytime you pick up the gas, right? So you're going to go into a corner in 4th gear, you trail brake and all that. You're going to get into the corner, and then just when you're coming to the throttle, or hitting the throttle, that's when you shift to 3rd, right as you're hitting the throttle. So you're just that sort of blip is going to let you just grab third straight away as soon as you land. And you also have to be prepared because it's going to sort of pitch your car a little bit towards the corner. It's going to rotate. So you have to be a little bit aware of that. But that's, I mean, rotation is always a good thing. These cars, you got to rotate them to get them to turn, right? You can't turn straight. So they gotta rotate a little bit. And now for my reference points, I always go what feels about a second after that first logo on the front stretch and in turn one. I brake about a second after that first logo. And in turn three, I try to look for, there's a double red line on the outside wall. I look for that into turn three for my braking zone. So right here, Cup Series logo, go a little bit and then hit the brakes. And then here, look for that red line. Right before that double red line, you're going to use the brake. As the tires wear out, you're going to need to push those back a little bit because you just won't have as much acceleration. You won't have as much grip, so you won't have as much turning power, turning force, turning ability, whatever you would like to call it. You're not going to be able to turn as much. You got to make the turn, sort of make your turning action take longer. Otherwise, you're not going to make the corner. So we're stuck behind these guys right now. So talking about the race here, we're stuck behind this 3-car pack. I think it looks like the 8's holding them up. I'm faster than... pretty sure I'm faster than the 13. I can't really tell about the 7. I think I'm faster than him too. And obviously if the 8 car is holding us all up, he's slower than probably all of us. 13 car just gives me the spot there because he doesn't want to get run over because I'm really just trying to find a way coming off the corner. And this is very tough because the way like the shifting works, right? When you're all shifting, it really makes it hard to get sort of any sort of run off the corner. I was able to sort of find something out here, but most of the time you're just kind of waiting to force a mistake, trying to put mental pressure on the driver in front of you. It's not very easy to really get a run off when everyone's downshifting. And not to mention that these guys, even though I was getting into the corner harder than them, and probably rotating the center better than them when I was doing my normal line, they had really strong exits. So as long as you have a strong exit, it's really hard for anyone to pass you. Here, 7 car made a mistake, and I knew that was my chance. So I send it in the corner, brake, trying to hold on to it. The brake profile looked super ugly there. I got really loose heading in the corner, so I had to back off the brake because I knew that would actually help me a little bit. And then I had to get back on when it sort of lands in the corner. So there's a little bit of a grip increase right as you transition to the concrete and as you land into the banking. So you can sort of use that to adjust your line. That's why a lot of times you don't want to arc it out too wide, right? You don't want to enter at the very top of the concrete. You want to enter about middle of the concrete heading into the corner. And knowing that the concrete's going to grip up a little bit better than the pavement, than the asphalt. So now, okay, up to 4th spot. I can see a second. Now the leader, I think, I don't even know where the leader is. I think he's that yellow car maybe up there. He's gone. So now it's just time to make a move on this 8 car. We got about halfway through the race here. We still got time to get up to second. We just need to try to be patient, look for an opening, try to figure out where we can be faster than him. Like I said, he's got a really strong corner exit, so it's really difficult to make a move. And he's got such a strong corner exit. So I'm trying to sort of drive it in deep, try to diamond, see if that works. That doesn't work. I think general, you just want to sort of hug the paint. hug that curb right there. And if you watch NASCAR on TV, that's what they say all the time. It's like drivers are trying to just wrap that curb all the way around the corner, really exit low, stay low throughout the whole entire corner. It's kind of what you want to do. But yeah, it's a little difficult. Definitely, I would definitely say my line, just my driving style, is really will roll this entry to center a lot better. But he gets the drive of the corner. It's not even that much better than mine. I feel it's just is stronger enough to the point where I can't make a move on him. So here again, like I jab on the brake, a lot of brake to not run him over, and it's just about spacing it right. But it's very hard to make a traditional pass on this guy's, at least specifically, because he was not making any mistakes. He was moving really smooth, and the pressure is on me to try to find a way around because I realized I was like, this guy has not made a single mistake this entire run. So I don't know how I'm gonna. It's gonna be hard to pressure him. I don't want to try to make a move on him where I bump him because it's very easy to scoop under the guy in front of you with these cars. You can see the front ends are very low, the rear ends are kind of high. So you can really just. Oh, and here's what happens. So 22 car gets in the way because he doesn't see the 8, and 8 car goes around because I can't check up in time. I didn't expect that big of a checkup. I didn't expect the 22 to dive right in front of him in the middle of the corner. So I go for a little tipsy-turvy turn. And we're back to 5th. And unfortunately for the 8 car, and I apologize to him in the race, but I think there's only so much I could have done in that scenario. I can't jab on the brakes that much more. I had a little bit of space to the 7 car, I think, but I was really trying to. My first instinct was like, okay, 22, the lap car is gonna get out of the way. Realized the lap car wasn't getting out of the way. I was like, okay, maybe I can time it off the corner, and then, no, there wasn't enough space, wasn't enough time. So, if that lap car wasn't there, that contact would have never happened. So I'm kind of just unfortunate that the car was there. I think it is still my responsibility as a following car to check up there. So if you're in a similar situation, I'll definitely recommend checking up. 8 car got really good up with the worst of that. And that's unfortunate. We lost quite a bit of time as well, getting knocked back to 5th place, but 8 car really sucks for him. Alright. Well, now I need to back to back to the grind, back to driving. 22, this lap car is back up here again. Let's see what he does this time. Gets in the way again. Oh no. Gets in the way again, that's so unlucky. But this is free time for me. I mean, I'm not complaining about it here. Because I just catch right up back to the 7 and 5 car. Now it's time to figure out how to make a move. Let's go again. I know the 7, I can pressure him potentially on a corner exit. There's me trying a diamond, doesn't work. I don't know why I kept trying to look at it. It just is not working every time. I tried picking up the throttle a little bit earlier, but it felt a little weird. I was so used to sort of grabbing the throttle and going, but if you pick up the throttle earlier, like, you sort of gotta really balance how you're gonna do it. And you gotta hold the gas a little bit because you're not really off the corner when you try to pick up the throttle earlier. It's not like a speedway where you really widen out and you can use the gas to sort of balance your rotation. My driving style is really you pick up the gas and you go. But once you get late in this run and you're trying to make a move, I think figuring out how to sort of sacrifice a little bit of entry to get a little exit speed is difficult here because of the way the corner works. So right now I'm just putting pressure on him mentally. Didn't not touching him. Did not touch him. And just trying to make a mistake, force a mistake. Because even after that whole somersault cartwheel we did, we were uh, we were still faster than both of these guys, I think. So now we just gotta find our way around. 10 laps to go. I notice I'm braking a little bit earlier, and even then with a little bit earlier, I'm still kind of struggling for grip. You know, tires are getting a little hot. Track temperature has increased quite a bit, and you'll notice that with the short tracks, right? You're doing there's a high frequency of cars just running on the track, slipping, sliding with like 250-degree Fahrenheit tires. That's gonna heat up a short track a lot more quickly than it will heat up like a 2-mile speedway where they're only doing 30 laps. Here we're doing 55 laps. Same amount of cars, but they're running over the track a lot more frequently. That's why you see the higher track temperature. It's been up to 86 degrees Fahrenheit for a while. I think usually the default temperature, not the default temperature, but the temperature when you're not seeing any cars running on track shouldn't be higher than 80 degrees. So this bottom lane is slick, right? Because that 86 degrees Fahrenheit is an average temperature. Seven car hits the wall, and I'm just like, okay, this is my chance. Send it in. Heavy braking, sort of trail off really fast, just to sort of get to the center of the corner first and try to pass him. I know like you can't really hold the top here. um, I'd say the tire model to me personally, and I don't know if this is 100% true, but my feeling about the tire model is that like if you're not in the rubber, you're punished so hard. There's so much rubber laid down in this bottom lane, and yeah, you can sort of move up a little bit, but like your right side tires are just gonna be out of the groove if you're side by side with somebody and you're on the outside, so you just can't hold on. It's very tough. You have to look for a crossover. Bottom line is 100% favored. So now I'm trying to make a move on the 5, but there's only a few laps to go. Even if I do have a little bit more speed than him, it's very unlikely it's gonna actually come to anything unless he makes a huge mistake. Here, I get in the wall, and I'm like, oh, well, that's probably it. So that throws us some time. Let's look at our lap times here. We're running about 20.4s. It looks like that was a 20.5 when we hit the wall, but I think we would have been in 20.4s otherwise. So that's sort of what you can expect to run at the very end of the race. So you get a second the tire fall off. There's me sending it in, trying to intimidate him. And that is a race at Martinsville. Very tough to pass. It's fun to drive, it's just tough to pass. I would just say practice your trail braking, practice sort of being consistent. You're gonna run a lot of laps here on a track, and the racing groove is gonna really slick off. And you want to also get those reference points down, like I said. You're going to sort of develop your own points on when you want to brake, when you want to get on the gas, where you want to be in all points throughout the corner. And if you can do that, then you'll be in pretty good shape to run fast around here. All right, thanks for watching. I'm Chris Shelley. See you guys later. Please like and subscribe for more.